Hi, I'm Takara,
And I'm Mark.
and we're from the new Science of Success.
Today we're going to be talking about denial, one of the stages of how we handle change. I'm sure you've all seen the pictures from around the world and around the country where it looks like in this time of great change with the coronavirus, we see images from around the country and around the world where it looks like nothing has changed in life. And this is a sure sign that that group of people where it looks like nothing has changed, that they are in the state of denial.
Indeed, indeed. So, what I showed yesterday, or whenever this video showed before, whenever you saw the previous video, um, I was showing the stages of mourning, and we talked about after a major loss or a major change in life, one of the first stages that a lot of people go through is the stage of denial. So that's what we're talking about today. And if you watch that other video, you can see, the overall picture of what we're trying to go through so that you can understand where you and all of your friends are right now. So when I teach about the what's officially called the mourning process, is what they often call these stages. Um, Denial is our mind is just not comprehending or doesn't want to, or the subconscious doesn't. I don't really know the mechanics of why it works this way. But when a sudden shift happens, loss of a loved one, loss of our job, suddenly, we're diagnosed with cancer or something horrible like that. There is this stage where we don't want to face that fact. And so people go into this thing called denial. And you, I mean, it's not uncommon for, say, a person, say it's some executive at a company, corporation or something. Her husband dies, and she might show up for work the next day. Okay. And all her coworkers are looking at her like, what on earth are you doing? And it's because she is just not able yet to process the fact that her beloved is gone, and she's in denial. And people go through that in multitudes of ways, but they just continue on as if nothing has changed, and they're expressing no signs of grief of any kind. It's just a natural stage of handling change. So we thought we would share with you about that, so that if you have friends that are in denial, or maybe you yourself are not quite facing the reality that we're all facing right now, then this would help you understand where they are and where you are. So
Yeah,
I
so
think you had
uh,
a story, right?
yeah, so for example, if you have kids, right now, I live in a state of Pennsylvania where things are kind of closing down. So there's far less, you can't be in groups. You really should, you're encouraged to stay at home. Well, I have two teenage daughters, and my wife and I, and our two daughters are here, and our circle has closed very greatly. There's very few people we interact with. Live in person. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law and our nephews, they live a block or two from us, are really about the only group that we hang out with in a room, because we've been together throughout this whole process. Now, what happens though? You have teenagers and they want to be hanging out with their friends. Well, this occurred probably more than a week ago. So these things could be happening for you a week ago. They may happen a week from now, depending on where you're at.
Right.
Um, where my daughter and her friends were at different places of where we were with their thoughts on the coronavirus. So my daughter had some friends who were really in that state of denial. It's like, oh, well, we can just keep going out doing the same things, hanging out in big groups, hanging out with different people. And my daughter had to make a choice. She had to make a choice of not giving up her friends, but saying, okay, I am going to do this differently. I will hang out with you guys, but I'm going to hang out with you virtually, right? So that it's okay for, I understand, right? But here's the choice I'm making. And I applauded her for that. I told her, I'm really proud of you because it's not an easy decision to make. You made a decision that you stood by what you believed in and your principles and what you thought was right for your family. And you weren't judging what your friends were doing. You're
Right.
just saying, this is what I'm doing. And some of them thought she was being a little bit of an alarmist, and she was okay with that. And
Mm.
she was okay with where they are. Now, a week or more has passed, and that group of people, they're out of the denial phase and into one of the phases that we will talk about in upcoming videos.
Right. Right. But if if you've been watching the news or you've been on social media, one of the things you're aware of is, there have been like hordes of kids down in Florida, down in Texas. They're all going to the beach because it was spring break. And then, now they're all coming home after mingling with all these other people, and they've been in airports and they've been on planes and, stopping at restaurants and basically, scattering germs all over the place, right? It's because they were all in denial. And, the same thing has happened with my son. My son is 21. He had a girlfriend, and literally they broke up over the coronavirus issue because he saw it coming back in January, and he's been telling his friends all along. And his girlfriend in particular thought he was so alarmist about it that she said, I just can't deal with it. And it's because she couldn't handle the stress of dealing with the truth, which is, that's fine. She needs to deal with whatever she needs to deal with. But it's been quite a thing to lose a girlfriend over the fact that she was still in denial and you're not. And I've been so proud of my son because, we care for two elderly. My parents are 88 and 91, and I care for them here in the same home. And they can't afford, they're in that demographic that they can't afford to have, this virus cannot enter our home. That's just, that's just not okay. And so we've been taking some pretty severe precautions, like wiping down every single thing that we buy at the grocery store before it comes out of the bag. It gets wiped down with a sanitizing wipe and stuff. I mean, that is way more aggressive at making sure that there's no viral things coming into our home. But, my dad has a heart condition and he's 91 years old. So we're going overboard. But it was my son who got us all to the point where we see the importance of that. So I was just really super excited and proud of him for caring that much about people outside himself at that age. People that age don't tend to think that way. And so, yeah, it's been very fascinating seeing it. But there's people who are thinking it's all crazy and they don't understand why they're having to stay home, and other people are going through all these other stages of mourning. So we just wanted to share with you, wherever you are is normal, wherever they are is normal. It's all okay. And to have more understanding for yourself, more understanding for them, more compassion all the way around. And then something we wanted to have you do is, if you have seen yourself or those in your circle or the people around you expressing denial, maybe under the video you could share some of your stories and let us hear from you what you've seen in the denial phase of all this. And we can help each other out that way.
Yeah, I think it's really important right now that we're just sharing all of our experiences, right? We all learn in different ways. We're all going to experience different things. And as Takara said, wherever you're at in the process, it's okay. But the more we share and the more we understand and the more we connect, the better off we'll be, and we will get through this together. And on that note, what I'd also like to let everyone know and remind everyone that we are having on our Facebook page, newscienceofsuccess.com, every Friday at 4 p.m., we are having what we're calling the High Spirits Happy Hour. The whole goal is for people to get together and share and talk and laugh and really work to uplift our spirits. It's really a time where we need to have some uplifting stories, uplifting interactions. And so if you're free and you can join us Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern, High Spirits Happy Hour on the New Science of Success page on Facebook.
All right. And until next time, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.